I'll bring the meeting to order. Welcome to the Brewery. I've never been here before, but we're happy to see you today. Just so everyone knows the business dimensions for the call to order. Our next business meeting is Thursday 1st at noon. It will be in this room? Okay.
I'm late a bit this week.
Okay, all right, it will be in this room for the first. And our next hearing is October 5th, which is Thursday, 4 in the room next door. Okay, great. And I'd like to swear in the staff, please. Can you all please raise your right hand? It's swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth. Great, thank you, ladies. Can the commissioners please introduce themselves?
Matt Leisure. Daniel Mather.
Devyani Purani.
And I'm Cynthia Hunt. And we have a full complement of our commissioners today, which we're thrilled about. Do we have anyone who wishes to speak for public? Have approvals?
We had first approval is for a temporary banner sign, but it goes well with Front Street. Second was a temporary banner for the Oddbird Center. Our third was a roof replacement.
All right.
And then the fifth, to repair some concrete that was crumbling.
I'll entertain a motion. Any opposed?
And our next will be
Suggestion?
I have motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I was expecting him to,
And we need him for the conversation.
if you I'll leave that up to.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
I can always have it. So the first application, evening. The variance recommendation request to the government law property. The variances requested are a use variance to permit 107 total dwelling in a manufacturing district. A variance section 3312.49 off-street parking to permit 62 parking spaces, which is a reduction of 99 parking.
60.
Building setbacks for the existing building on Front Street. Variance section 3363. Variance the same section again to present Front Street, but also to permit an encroachment of 20 feet into the setback, length of 62 feet and 4 inches to permit the first floor parking garage and the apartment. And a variance section 3312.9 parking spaces to vary the size of a rectangular area from 9 by 18 feet to 18 inches by 18 feet. Out to preserve the general building height of 9 inches for a tower roof and 4 inches for a tower exhaust as measured from one to the street. following is taken from the June 1st, 2023 Brewery District Commission meeting minutes. As I've read these before, I will just state the use agreement for parking on the south side of the property when the applicant returns for a request for action. And requested that the applicant bring examples of other parking ratios in urban context so that they have benchmark figures. And the commission also requested a document showing all available parking, on-street parking within a 1 block radius. Then the following is taken from the July 6th, 2023 Brewery District Commission meeting minutes. The third report variances on the list, as well as the two presented by the applicant but not provided to staff prior to the meeting, are simply to legitimize the commission. Commissioners asked for clarification on how the proposed parking is solved the proposal of the act. That's for clarification on why the parking should use a maximum occupancy of 88 when the requested variance is for a reduction of 99 spaces. Other noted that the study shows a lower availability of parking on Friday compared to Saturday, which indicates an area of residences, and this development may cause the demand on parking on Saturdays where the demand needs to. Also noted that the study may not be representative of actual parking availability in the area, as the study took place separately. Clarified that the applicant was able to gain the extra spaces to the south of the property, then requested variance to remain the same. The applicant would have access to more available parking spaces than are included in the commission requested the updated variances and the most up-to-date materials for the next review of this application. Requested the use agreement again. The commission requested that the applicant bring examples of other parking ratios. And the commission also requested that be based on the correct number of parking spaces and not taking comment for the weekends, or an explanation from the firm to state why the current study is wrong. Commission July 20th, 2023 business meeting noted that a narrative explanation of the parking study would be helpful as the numbers alone are not correct. The two additional variances are seeking to legitimize the existing conditions, except that an updated parking study taking place on the same weekend was provided by the applicant, reflecting the requested reduction of maintenance. The validity of the parking study was also provided by Confidence Marketing, who stated that their judgment would be that the traffic and the holiday in the market. Their expectation is that the land of the funds is of the holiday compliance. The applicant also provided an article regarding parking in the cities across the USA. They require links with it. The applicant informs staff that they have asked the City of Columbus Department of Public Service to expedite the staff recommendation is that the commission recommend approval of variance application with any and all clarifications to be submitted. And the basis for this recommendation is City Code Section 3116.11, standards for alteration. City Code Section 3116.12, standards for reconstruction. Section 3116.13, standard. I think we'll carry on with the conceptual. We have the whole discussion of one, or we can.
I'm fine with the next conversation first. We can make a recommendation for all, or we need to go item by item?
Not this juncture. I mean, out of respect to your time.
Members.
Swear in me.
Yeah, I'm getting the. Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but? Yes, on this part, do we have questions? I wasn't at the business meeting, so I don't know the document. But if those who were at the business meeting could bring forward any issues at this time.
I can give you a broader update, and we're working on through the use agreement. Part of the use agreement is, really tied to access and lack thereof for us, because the transportation group never once, I guess they would love that road to be forever in perpetuity, just vacant. By sewers, utilities, a bunch of things. And what we've offered and continue offering are several strategies by which we've shown our drawings, breakaway bollards, everything. So we have aerial access for fire trucks, and the city has access to there. And we are working through that process. I wish it was a faster process.
Talking about the area south of the building.
Yes,
So when you talk about the road, it's the road that goes over Whittier Street, that road?
know the old Whittier that runs parallel to the building,
Right.
the face of the building.
Right.
So, yeah, we're working through that, and trust me, it's in our best interest, that even if I can create some tiny parking, I mean, it's marketability, it's key to us. There's two other urban properties, we have Valencia and here. Three district, one's in the short north. Surely. There. We are looking under every rock, but at the same time, we're trying to run this as simultaneous trend.
Is there a takeaway from the parking study that you'd like to share with us?
Really, with respect to the parking study, I did go through it again with Carpenter and Marty. They made the correction. And I did quiz them because I was here and heard about the date of which that study was taken. And again, and I even ran at them 3 times to make sure they just weren't giving me the knee-jerk reaction the first time. And they really stuck to their guns as far as saying that they really felt that a holiday weekend actually was there are more visitor trips than just people living. So yeah, they were because I proved out at them and they consist.
You guys, I still feel doubt about that conclusion. I have no basis for, no analytical basis for that.
It's hard
other
to
than
trust.
just living in the area. But like they are experts, obviously you're experts, so I'm not going to answer the question.
No, but that's a fair question. Is trust me, I've used people before that I didn't respect.
Based on real experiences, do you guys have anything to add to that? Staff recommends approval conditional on getting the agreement and then all the other variances is just not that one, or do you think of them as all?
I can have that as a condition.
I thought it was. I thought I recommend. Yeah. As submitted with any and all clarifications submitted for review prior to issue of a certificate. I read that as you needed to see the report, the thing from the parking organization.
Only if that's something that the commission does.
Okay, so I read it.
Condition would be appropriate in this case.
For certificate, and on that one, wait for the report, and but it can be stacked full of my student. I need some experience.
I think the rest of the knowledge.
No.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Traffic and parking, is that what it is? I think I'm back.
It's a use agreement you need. Is that?
Yeah.
Have they verbally said to you they plan to?
Verbally,
Or have they hedged?
no, they really haven't hedged, it's just working through, it's really traffic, I addressed the concern on the corner. It's all the other cooks in the kitchen, just making sure they're protecting their territory. We've even gone as far as, that road through there, there's an access for fire access for the adjoining property. And I've been talking to those owners, and they're fine. They really want us to move forward with this project.
Which owner? Just like your,
Capital Square.
okay.
It's
First,
partnership.
first, right, yeah.
So I've been talking about Capital Square.
I feel comfortable with parking. I feel like tying it to traffic and parking is
Two owners.
there's a little dangerous for them, and that's.
General agreement? I think you guys, in my mind, you guys are much more extra time. What do you feel?
I mean, I would also encourage maybe talking to Dow or something, like that. Actually providing alternative options,
Absolutely.
or making it even more.
Correct. And we're talking to everyone and including, I used to be the chair of Thousand Friends of Central Ohio, which is now Transit Columbus. I'm talking to everybody about smart transportation people in the city and everything, because over time, like I said, we're wanting to move forward with various, I'm still looking for every transportation solution I can, as well as being mobile.
Sorry. So I'll entertain a motion.
Right.
Or you can just say all of them.
I'll make a motion to approve all of the requested variances.
Is there a second? And any clarification submitted to, for, review approval prior to final issuance? Yes? If there is anything we can ask for, and we're not asking for anything.
Yes.
So it's okay. All right. You'll second, sorry, Joe?
Yep.
Okay, great. All in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
We know you have been,
Including moving the bass boat that was on Whittier Street. Somebody dumped a bass boat that was not seaworthy or lake-worthy, but we seem to be quite a repository for all the broken toys. But when my landscape guys send me pictures every week, it's always something. I had a pop-up camper, but this week was the boat. So, yeah, we want to keep moving here because I'm really tired of hauling large objects out of the site.
This application is BZ 38, also the Jones Hill property, and this is the new construction. There's some modifications to previously submitted material. Renderings to indicate the material of the proposal, and new renderings showing the proposal from the street level and showing the amenity deck from the pedestrian eye level. And the following is taken from the July 6, 2023 Brewery District Commission meeting minutes. Commission agreed that the staircase to the tower is acting as an access piece to the building. The stair tower finish and accent color black is compatible with the rest of the proposal. Commission asked for clarification on whether the demonstration of whether the underside of the projecting balcony needs to be finished or whether the framing will be left exposed. The applicant has come a long way in reducing the noise of the design, but noting that there are what finishes in the exterior, but exterior. Commission also wants to know the material the applicant intends to use to frame. Commissioner Leisure. On the existing buildings, if those images are available. Matter is supported that the applicants provide with light out. Commissioner Mather also would. In the shades previously proposed. We're working on the northeast corner of the proposal. We have light glare coming out of the garage and down the pedestrian and buffer neighboring property. Commissioner Leader also noted that the applicant should be considering how they will address the street and remedy the loss of the large tree. Commissioners requested a rendered image from a street level view of the northeast corner. Commissioner Hunt. As for the windows on the single story warehouse will be remaining white and encourage the applicant to check historic imagery. Commissioners think they will pay attention to the power. Elevation show the rear side power with black finish and responding to discussion and lighting. Use the southeast corner, the northeast entry corner, the amended deck, and the west side. Renderings indicate the materiality of the structure, however, actual material yet to be specified. And the updated renderings now indicate that the window frames on the single story warehouse structure shall have a black finish. Science statement can be utilized by the applicant to better refine the proposal for reviewer. Basis for this recommendation in City Code Section 3116.11, the standards for alteration. City Code Section 3116.12 and installation. City Code Section 3116.13 and improvement. And are design considerations.
I'm sure one is point of order, without point of order. Sure, I'm not being rude. I just received some drawings that I want no action, I just want feedback from, our next class of teacher. That I brought ample copies for everyone.
Since we're all five here, I would be okay with that. And since today's just conceptual feedback, I would be.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to say, oh, we love it, or we approve it, I'm not approve.
Yeah. Right.
Well, yeah.
There was actually movement forward.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's finally like, finally, this is what I've been asking. Copy, I didn't allow you to get copies. And also I apologize for the rest of my team since the meeting rescheduled and everybody else in my group takes vacations but me. So,
That's not my
Ryan's on vacation,
problem.
Gardner's on vacation. Yeah, so,
You want to start with landscape? You want to start with the?
can we start with the landscaping?
Sure.
And also I just want to, we've gone back and forth on this internally ourselves. And what we've ended up with is keep it simple, stupid. One thing I will tell you that did bother me that we will get changed is that the stare of our neighbor to the north is not adequately represented on the backside of that retaining wall, but they're there. We're gonna drop them in there, but that's also the need for the retaining walls because we have pretty. But
They actually came to the last commission meeting and never choose them. Yeah.
well, that property just transferred again recently, I believe. Really?
Maybe to the north, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Offer a comment?
Pretty happy with, I think the fact that she felt that we were all considering her needs.
Oh, okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We were all happy.
No, that's great because like I said, I sent letters and.
Yeah.
Uh,
Have her name?
I do not.
Okay.
Yes, I
She
talked,
wasn't an official speaker.
because I talked to the attorneys across the street. I talked to them, well, there were homeless people. Like, yeah, but But anyway, we went with something real simple. You'll notice that the material we used for the floor, the pavers, we are, we're trying to play into that more of the industrial look. So it's going to be, a brick paver as opposed to concrete or some slate-like material or stone-like material. We're actually thinking of building that retaining wall out of the repurposed bricks from the one single bay garage that is between the house and the warehouse. So try to repurpose some of the materials that are already there into some of these elements that reducing into the new part.
But very different color from what is on the ground, right?
I'm sorry?
It'll be color from what's on the ground, right?
Yes. Yes. But we're, and again, it's just, this is all going to be irrigated. And we're trying to provide some screening for our neighbor to the north. And then also I've given our landscape charge that I want this green as long as possible. 12 months is not enough. We're going to be pretty particular with the type of plant material we use there, but we're trying to keep this as like it's not a big space. We're trying to keep it as flexible as possible so it can meet varying needs. That it could be a small assembly space for residents that live in Jonesville. It's also we're trying to make this an elegant, it had one that was, in my opinion, too elaborate, so I'm not sure. We'll be back. The next pieces we are working on is the front street treescape. And also when we get into talking about the building, we have that area where the new building extends west. We kind of have this, like I call it a little secret garden that's in between the tower and the new building. But I think it's a really great opportunity to have some really good public. We're programming that right now, and I will have that for you. So I entertain any questions or comments you have about this.
Yeah, so a couple things, materials, you have a sense of the type of brick that you want to use or what the clay brick pavers, is that what you're thinking?
If I have my brothers, we're gonna find some old Nelsonville brick pavers.
Okay. I would build them with a,
I don't buy some Home Depot, flavor.
something that,
No, this is going to, like I said, I'm trying to take this back to a point in time and I want something that feels more turn the 20th century.
so that's something you're looking into and the actual material selection.
I'm close to having enough. Personally, I own a ton of Nelsonville block pavers. I've been accumulating them over the last 25 years.
Okay. How'd you accumulate them?
Every time I dug something up
Yeah,
and everybody wanted to throw them away, I'd throw them in my car.
gotcha.
And every time, you empty the ocean of, once put in 1 gallon at a time and end up with a lot of water. So, some of my mentors in this business are historic preservationists and they made me keep them.
Good move.
Yeah, I think one comment would just be softening against the garage as well, like, I'd see guys, a couple planters, but I think something maybe a little more would make sense. And I just, again, if there's any communication with the neighbor or if they're changing how that wall interacts with, and the vertical plant material they have, that, I think that would be important to hear any thoughts.
Sure. So I'm encouraged to hear they attended the last meeting, but obviously we were. I will reach out to them again because each time I'm at the site, I even look for activity, just anybody to talk to.
Right.
Um,
The other thing I would say now is, I'm guessing a lot of folks will get Ubers here and be hanging out here, so if site furnishings, sense, I think that would be. Like build all sidewalks to a commercial grade, so they don't
Other questions?
I think floor palettes can be very important with pavers, because you do have the garage and you have pavers themselves, but you have two colors there. And then you're trying to repurpose the brick for that retaining wall. So I think that's where you have to be very mindful of color selection for everything's compatible. Thanks.
We're gonna want, obviously gonna want to see those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely.
Anything else?
So the driveway itself is, what kind of material are you thinking for that?
You know, that's a good question. And, I actually, would like to continue this throughout, where we terminate to the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'm gonna end up with two ribbons. Literally focused just on the plaza, not the approach. So, I would envision ending things here.
Okay, yeah, it's a big piece of concrete, that's, so.
Is the stuff in the house brick or cement? The actual remainder of the sidewalk that goes around? How shape is it, and does it need to be
Now I'm done with it, is what I need to.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, for everything we're gonna have to do to preserve that warehouse wall. Yeah.
Questions?
I think, it's to help with stormwater as well.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Absolutely. We have another project where we're really interested into, some technology, actually. They sort of want conservation. Application. We're also trying to use some of those best practices here and migrate to the whole art. Having some.
Generally, on the site plan, you're still working on those courtyard spaces, right? And I think you have bike parking internal to the,
Yes,
to encourage.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All the way around. I mean, he said it's bringing the streets together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yes, but yeah, we will, and, we, also right now, there's a bunch of changes that are coming up with here that, we're gonna charging station. More.
Front Street, this is just a drawing notation thing where there are parallel parking spaces. Like showing those so we know. And I know
Very good.
There aren't any.
on the site plan, can you also note where the refuse,
I'm sorry? Okay, yeah. Just magically disappeared.
That's what we all hope for.
Yeah, I really wish it was.
Their loading dock for people to bring furniture and stuff in? Or you just assume it comes into,
There isn't a loading dock, but the elevators will be sized such that they
Okay.
can,
nothing in other doors, all right.
yeah. Yeah. Good working. There is an elevator. Sizing all of these elevators. We learned that it's a hard knocks.
Thank you, we're thrilled to see you.
Yeah, what about all the changes that, as John would be. However, some of the plate was page 6. I know there was a concern, wanted a better perspective of that south elevation and how the new building, um, attempted to show that better. One thing you would look is that before we had, these canopies are now open. But, I actually think that, like I set up a bit, our concern is when we try to fill or screen those, I'm not using a residential, window system, through here. On this corner, we're really trying to, like I said, I want this to be more like a jewel box. When you see it on the corner, it's, bar. So we tried to better illustrate that and, kind of pick our poison as it related to that canopy. Exception of the very top. I mean, that is a lid there. But these pieces are just more or less, they provide some shade, but they're, ornamental or decorative. Questions or concerns about our approach to that?
Intermediate, things from the outside edge, it's just gonna move them.
There probably will be a small intermediate, but we're not putting a roof on it or any type of a screen is our thinking right now. We went back and forth on that. Saying that, we're resolute and say, hell no, we won't do anything.
I was wondering if there's movers or something that provides some additional shade.
To pitch it a bit so that, yeah, that would be a great idea because that is high sun.
Right, just once the sun's setting, I bet you there's
Sure,
a benefit to that.
good idea.
All of the stuff that we described last time.
Curious about the new material, what that is.
We're bringing samples next time.
Okay.
Do you know any more about it?
I'm sorry?
Do you know any more about it?
I couldn't speak to the exact system. All that stuff is at M&A right now. I've seen it. They have it all, but we will provide that with physical samples and literature too.
It's just renderings have this nice depth and quality to it. So it's not just a flat, like a party.
Oh, no, it's not right.
Without leaders, materials being called out or window systems being specified,
Right,
yada, yada, yada. This is good conceptually, but it's just.
right. No, when that's why we wanted to fine tune this a bit. And what we've been doing is assembling all of these parts and pieces of physical, tangible, look up. And that's our next step as it relates to the building. So. And is there any other concerns about that rear stair tower or any changes that we've done as it relates to that?
What do you think the black material is? What do you think the black material is on the rear seat tower?
It's probably just a metal clad material.
Okay.
Yeah. Want it to be, bunch of gold truss, scissor trusses to repurpose. I'm trying to find a place to incorporate it. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how many of them I have that I could use some of
Where
that
do you
stuff.
store all this stuff?
Sorry.
Where do you store all these? That's your treasures.
I have a couple of pole barns up in Knox County.
Is it too early to talk about exterior lighting?
No,
With all the patios, balconies and everything. There's,
I can't speak to the common terrace right now. That's a very good question. What I will tell you as it relates to patios is that today it's, wall mounted light. It's a knockdown light. So that all it does is you get like in no other light is dispersed. We do that on all of our balconies, period, because you get too much light that is broadcast out.
Patios, right?
One thing in patios, that there's accent lighting on the building itself to highlight architectural elements, and then, like how you're treating them, lighting on the, we'll call it historic structure.
That's what you're lighting, right? Or you want to light, it's the historic.
Right.
Yeah.
Trying to understand what that balance is, what's highlighted versus what's not.
We're cool on balconies. Yeah, I think it's a different question.
Yeah, and well, our objective, and I heard this very loud and clear from especially one commissioner, is that, embrace the brick. So we're gonna embrace the brick, and we will, illuminate that. I believe it probably is going to be illuminated from the top down, because I run into too much interference from the bottom up. And I can't reach everything from the bottom up, given the footprint of the tower and stuff that's together. I think it's probably gonna be the better thing. And an opportunity for us could be is, I have to reword a lot of this corners. This isn't all there right now. And my mantra is, I'm repairing where I have to repair. I'm not just ripping it off and trying to bring Vicon or something up there. We're going to actually put it back as 10. Yeah. People would try it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So no, we're going to, and that could be an opportunity as a way to conceal some light, but yet highlight the building. And if our CBO wasn't so averse to rooftop areas, it'd be a great place to use for a rooftop, but I'm not even going there.
And,
You're getting a better angle from Whittier Street.
It was good to see that perspectives.
Great picture too, this world of graffiti people got. We basically had to repaint that whole siding.
So while we're waiting for this, and that's good.
Right. Yeah, we're not trying to adorn it in any way. I just was saying that there are parts of that that are perforated, pitted, rusted, missing.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, is that your black or your gray, dark gray is.
Right.
Thank you. I have so I think that highlighting the historical dimensions, not just the warehouse, but also the Jones warehouse sign, stuff like that, I mean, I think could be.
Yeah, we've actually talked to 3 artists to recreate that look like it's 100 years old. It's pretty faded right now. Or I can leave it alone. Okay, I won't touch it. Because that's actually a very generous perspective. That's, if you're out there, it's not as pronounced. That's all I was trying to do, was still make it look like it's old, that I didn't redo it. But you don't, you can read it. Because this side's not as bad, the Front Street side, really.
Find some updated for them.
I love that, so.
Hey, I'm happy to keep it.
No, I'm thinking of, is there something that we can apply to the sign that preserves it? I don't know the right thing, that keeps it at its current state as opposed to. I don't know if that's even the way.
Brick people.
Yeah.
Brick people.
Talk to brick people, not
Good people, yeah. Might be some type of a sealer we can put on it.
Yeah, but again, I want to make sure that's appropriate, given guidance.
Um, something that we.
Okay.
I think there's challenges with the different compositions of brick.
Right.
There is, you don't. Steel sometimes creates more. of a
Right.
adverse.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons I didn't explore that is because a lot of times, once you clog it up and it can't breathe, then it's a problem. You might like it to accelerate its demise.
And then you guys did put something in Columbus Business First last week, I think, for the Sun building for the last couple of weeks. And the one comment, I was reading people's comments, clearly they well, there's that railroad track right behind you. And I realized I live about a mile away from here. I hear a train whistle, relatively, from me. Is that train, track right behind the building?
Yes,
Okay, so it will be a noise.
that is it, part of the internal yard system. So it is they're building trains at that point. You don't have big trains running through there. That makes any sense.
Yeah. And I don't think it's that often.
No,
I know
but the
it's around-
frequency's not as much. Actually, my father was a railroad CNO for
Uh-huh.
43 years, so I know a lot about railroading. Most everything right now is that all of the big rails they're trying to get around Columbus. I mean, they're trying to run around and make their way down to Rickenbacker
Right,
or other points, the multimodal points. So, and actually, those sidings were very active when you had users that needed rail sidings. I can't think of anyone under limestone that could use a rail siding for.
is Langstone the one that actually,
Because everyone else that was there, gone.
it was totally agree with this comment, but you might need to address that in your marketing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I just never even thought about it until I saw that comment, but, I'll talk about it.
What's an amenity? We give you hobo rides, you stay out the track and you
Some
can ride.
people might like that. Some
You
people
ride to
might
the county line in a boxcar. No, I didn't. Well, I understand your point.
Yeah.
And,
Not related to the commission, just a question. Anything else anybody wants to? Or? Anything else?
Just some more details, right? I think.
no, we're gonna give you a bunch of detail.
Yeah.
I do have one question though, is given that, what is the next deadline? I'm goofed up because we moved back a week and I'm confused.
That is something that I will have. Wanting to reset my crop toe. I can double check on that. I imagine it would be early next week. Because our next business meeting is Thursday.
No, I understand. The only reason I say is, the reason I raise this point is that we have been assembling materials. And as opposed to telling you guys to drink out of a fire hose, if I have the opportunity, I'd like to at least get you some of the stuff so we can present it so that it's it might be a bit more manageable. Does that make any sense?
How do we, I don't,
Or do you want it all at one time?
I don't know how you break it up.
Okay,
How to break this thing
We
up.
kind of need to see it all together.
Right.
We can bring it, but then we're gonna have to see
Correct.
it all together, so we're not gonna prove it till we see.
And it's the same difference. We just continue the application.
Right.
correct the width. of the space. No more vacations.
Anything else?
Thank you so much for your time and your consideration. It's like your other applicant didn't show.
A lot of good suggestions.
You want me to step in for him? I'll send him a bill. Thanks, guys.
A lot of good comments, so good feedback.
Well, then I will do my best to represent.
Having come to the next meeting. It's a conceptual review.
No, it's. But if there are any questions, I think it'd be helpful for me to get them to him.
All right.
High Street. And then it is, construction of a new outdoor patio area of 7 feet, that's a recommendation. The patio area is to be bound by 4-foot tall tube steel and steel tube fence, which will be coated or painted white. A wooden drink rail will be integrated into the fence design. Also a retroactive request for completed concrete repairs.
For what?
Concrete repairs.
Okay.
The sidewalk. The
That's a
concrete,
graceful way to say it.
the concrete sidewalk repair was prior to receipt of the application for the proposed patio and was actually existing concrete sidewalk. The patio fence should be designed to be easily removed for the short and design guidelines and commercial. Not be fixed in the facade of the property. The patio fence is to be of tube steel and steel cable construction with a wooden drink rail. Railing should not exceed a height of 42 feet. The short and guidelines of the commercial patio is not designed in the reference plan. That recommends approval of application, ED 23-09-006, involving South High Street, as submitted with the following condition. The railing should be 42 feet high, 42 inches high. So the short non-design guidelines on commercial patios and outdoor dining in the public right of way. The basis for this recommendation is City Code Section 3116-13, and it's non-design guidelines on commercial patios and outdoor dining and site work and landscape.
Is this? Yeah. It's one of those ones.
Like the first light test, it's been open quite a bit.
All right, good. Do we have feedback? Questions?
The only change is to go from 4 feet to 42 inches, is that?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's just city code.
It's for our.
For design code, okay.
So they'll have to integrate their drink rail, either it'll have to shift down or it'll have to be at the top rail of the rail. But, yeah, I feel like 4 feet is just by itself really high, would seem really high. High street.
More than necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Let's take it.
separation is that. That's right behind it. That's at the height you're probably talking about.
Right, that's fine.
Right.
Yeah, so the outside is that way, I think, rail.
Yeah, sure, yeah. I think this is good. So it's not all the same height, but that's, if it's the. So I guess we have to.
Top rail, turn rail or appropriate wood speech.
There are a lot of different materials on these, all of these drawings have different materials. So that the top rail should steel, not wood. The guardrail, but the drink rail.
I don't know, we haven't seen materials. from our company yet. I don't know what's up.
Or dated.
Are there species articulated for drink rails in guidelines?
I think we have to avoid pressure removal. For this,
That's not great.
you don't. Something dense.
So we have to, you have to review this stuff and make sure. That whatever guidelines from the shoulder handle was not going to degrade quickly.
Yeah. I'm okay with them switching it to metal drink wrap.
Like aluminum.
Same or different.
It's probably the most durable solution.
Preference. I'm okay with it being wood if it's a grade.
Right.
Like an AZAC or like a composite wood material, like real.
Durable.
I'm not sure whether it was quite,
I didn't either.
I was like looking at the inspiration in my.
It's not turquoise.
I think we've never turquoise.
I'm joking.
I'm gonna go to the garage. but-
Yeah. Totally joking. I mean, my preference would have been black, but think I'm okay with the white.
Yeah.
Better with the turquoise. Anything else we learned there? Yeah, so.
If there's conditions, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. We can say approved contingent on. Or we've done,
Agree, we're both agreed with.
okay,
We ran into problems of the applicant being present and not necessarily agreeing to a motion.
okay,
So commissioners that are talking about, making slight changes, want to make sure it's okay with the applicant.
so we have, this is an evolution. Revised, it's not, it's a good thing, I just am,
Yeah, it's, you don't have
I just want to make sure it's, because I know we've done it many times in the past. Okay,
need to. I'll let that know, and be back, because that's right.
yeah, I
anything
agree.
else? We want to go through the change.
We have a different option.
Oh, I'll entertain a motion to continue.
I'll make a motion to continue.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you for keeping us on this. So are we going to be able to do the bylaws? Yes.
As noted by Cynthia,
Yes.
because so all of the historic commission bylaws are slightly different. And I haven't been, working on updating them in the past couple of weeks. So I'm up on them as I was.
We're horrified.
You know, they like everybody. We can always take the vote and then run it by management. On Fox.
Good, that was all the
A
better.
couple months ago. It's just part of the bylaws say that certain have to be presented to the on this agenda. I'm not sure how much wiggle room we have.
We have seen it before.
Yes,
So,
but number of times.
yes.
I'm not gonna leave with May. We're just gonna make country go through every single one.
Here we are. As opposed to a specific number.
Yes.
Right.
No questions.
All right, to accept the bylaws.
Accept the, yeah, motion to accept the bylaws. Changes.
Yeah, is there a second? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Love to make this good.
That would be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like devoutly to be desired.
Check with the management.
Yeah, and let us know if we have to try to get back for the,
They've already have 5 commissioners.
that's what I thought.
What, that's,
We can do it.
that's a caveat of the bylaw,
Yeah,
of the bylaws, that you have, in order to change the bylaws, you have to have 5 members of the commission vote.
let us know if they buy it, and if not, we'll rattle everybody's cage to make sure they show up next Thursday.
Okay.
Is anybody knowing that they can?
For the business
Yeah.
meeting, I have always outstanding meetings that I run.
Yeah.
I usually can't.
Okay, well
I
then,
will try.
okay, let's, for the next commission meeting, does anybody know they're not gonna be at the next commission meeting? All right, great. Okay, so any other business? Fair enough? Yeah, then a motion to dismiss.
Make a motion to.
Second,
I'll second the motion.
sir?